This video series is going to walk through the 18 labs located in the Windows 7 configuration Microsoft official academic course in preparation for exam 70-680. This first video is going to walk through the lab setup guide. Now at this point I have set up my HyperV manager, created my switches, and created a file folder where my virtual machines and hard disks will be stored. The Server 2008 has been installed, and Vista has also been installed. So we're gonna start these videos from that point. Okay, so we're going to start from here. And configure the date and time in Server 2008. The date and time has already been configured as part of the setup process in Vista. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and log into our RWDC01, and I have labeled it as 70-680. That's because I'm keeping several labs on my Hyper-V at once right now. Then we're going to log in with password. And this is at capital P, little a, $, $W0RD. We're going to be using that password throughout the entire workbook. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay, so now that I've booted up my machine and logged in, it brings me up to the Windows Server Manager console. First thing I want to do is set the time zone. Now, I am on the Eastern time zone. So change time zone, click on the drop down arrow, and we're going to find Eastern, and then OK. Now the next thing we're going to do is configure our TCP IP settings. So let's go and click on OK here. We want to configure our networking. Double click, properties, and IPv4 and properties. And we're going to use this IP address 10.10. Oops. Okay, so we're going to set the IP address as 10.10.0.2, and then the subnet mask will be set as the 255.0.0.0. The preferred DNS will be the 10.10.0.2. And then we're going to go ahead and click on OK. Okay, now the next thing I want to show you. Okay, we're going to close this, and I'm going to close this. So now we've set our time zone and configured our networking, but I'm going to flip over to the Hyper-V quickly just to show you the switch manager. I have a Contoso INT. Which I set up as an internal network. I also have a Contoso/PVT, which is a private switch. Both of these will be used within the labs. So right now I've only assigned to the RWDC01 just the one switch, the Contoso internal. I've done the same thing with the Windows Vista machine settings and set it as the internal adapter as well. Okay, now back to our RWDC. So now we're going to name the server. So I'm going to click on Provide Computer Name and Domain. Now, if you type in computer description, this isn't going to help you. we actually have to click in change. Computer description is just what it is, a description of it. This does not apply to domain names. So we have to change it from here. And then for right now, we're going to leave it as a work group because we have not set up the domain name server yet. And we have to now restart the computer in order for it to start, and that's fine. We'll go ahead and restart it at this point. And then close, and then go ahead and restart now. While that's restarting, I'm going to go back into the HyperV and just walk through some of the other settings that I have set up. The memory I set up as 2096. Again, I have the one network adapter as the internal. So when I was setting this up, I set this up as 2096 and 80 gig to give me plenty of room. If I can easily, it can work with less than the 80 gig, but I found that the 80 gig allows it to work a little bit faster than if I had 60 or 70, which is really all you need is 60 or 70 to run these labs. But I'm trying to get through them quickly without spending a lot of time just waiting. Now, the Windows Vista, this was surprisingly a very easy install once I found the right ISO because Windows no longer supports Vista. And if I go into, here's the memory, again I also went with the 2096. Okay, let's see how we're doing on our reboot. Okay, it's asking us to sign back in again. Now the next thing we're going to do is install the server roles. Now all of this again can be found in the back in the appendix guide. And right now I'm on page 197. Installing Active Directory domain services. So we want to do add roles, which is right down here. And then next. And we must select Active Directory domain services. And then go ahead and click Add Required Features. And we're going to go ahead and click on Next, Next, and then Install. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and click on Close. And we're going to launch the Active Directory Domain Services Installation Wizard. If the wizard doesn't come right up, you can click on Start and type in DC Promo. And I'm going to minimize the Windows server. Here we go. And here we're going to go ahead and click on Next. And next. We want to do create a new domain in a new forest. And then next. And the fully qualified domain name is going to be, toso.com. That's the FQDN, fully qualified domain name. Now click on Next. Here we're going to choose Windows Server 2008 R2 and then select Next. We're going to go ahead and let it default and click on Next. And then Yes. And then Next. And then the password, we're going to use the same password we're going to be using throughout, capital P, little a, $, W0RD, and then confirm it. In the real world, you certainly wouldn't want to use the same password throughout, but for our purposes, it's going to be easier for us to remember. So we're going to use it because it's a virtual machine. For learning purposes, we're just going to use one password. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and click on Finish and allow the computer to restart now. So I'm going to pause the video while I wait for my computer to restart. Okay, so let's go ahead and log back in. Again, we're going to go back into Add Roles. And then Next. Now we want to select Active Directory Certificate Services. And then we want to select Next. Oops, previous. Okay. Next, Next. And we already have the Certification Authority marked. We now want to mark the Certification Authority Web Enrollment and click on Add Role Services. And then Next, Next, Next to accept the default root certificate authority option. Next to create a new primary key. I'm going to select Next again, and then Next, Next, Next again, and then Next, and then Next to accept the default. Okay, we're going to click on Install. And again, I'm going to pause the video until we're done installing. Okay, so we've installed the Active Directory Certificate Services. Our next step is to install the DHCP server. So we're back on our RWDC machine. I'm going to click Close. Again, we're going to add roles. And then Next. And we're going to select DHCP server. And then Next. Next. You see that we're already connected to 10.10.0.2. And then Next. 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 Here we're on the Add or Edit DHCP scope, so we're going to click on Add to add a scope. And the scope name is going to be contoso.com. The starting IP address is 10.10.0.100. The ending IP address is 10.10.0.199. Subnet mask is fine. And we'll go ahead and click on OK. And then click on Next. And then Next. And then we're going to click on Next. And then Next. And then Install. The next step in this process is to install the routing and remote access. So we're going to again click on Roll as soon as this process is done. So we're going to click on Close, and again click on Add Roles. We're going to click on Next. We're going to select Network Policy and Access Services. Next. Next. We want to select Routing and Remote Access Services. And then we're going to click on Next. And then we're going to install. Then we're going to click on Close. Now we're going to click on our Start button and go into Administrative Tools and click on Routing and Remote Access. Now I'm going to minimize this. Okay, and make this just a little bit larger. Okay, now I'm going to expand the RWDC, and there's nothing there. So now we're going to left click, right click, and we're going to configure and enable routing and remote access. And then select Next. And we want to select Custom Configuration, and then Next. We're going to select VPN Access, and then click on Next. And we're going to click on Finish. And we're going to start the service. And then once this has been started, the wizard configures the routing remote access and starts the service. Now we're going to close out of our routing and remote access console panel. All right, now we're going to go back to our Windows Server Manager console, and then again add roles, and then Next. We're going to select Windows Deployment Services. Next. 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 And then Install. And then Close. Click your Start button. And then Administrative Tools and Windows Deployment Services. And then we're going to expand the server's node. Right-click the RWDC01. And select Configure the server. Select Next. Next. and then yes. We want to select do not listen to port 67 and select configure DHCP option to option 60 and then click on next. And then we want to select respond to all client computers known and unknown and then select next. Okay, we're going to leave this we're going to leave this add images to server now checkmarked or checkboxed and click on finish. Now we want to insert a Windows 7 Enterprise installation disk. So I'm going to minimize this for a minute. Let's see. Windows 7 Enterprise. So I'm going to double click it. This is an ISO, so I'm going to double click. And it's already selected to my, it's an ISO, so now it's selected as my drive F. So I'll close this, go back to my RWDC, click on Media, DVD Drive, and capture F. And we want to, on Open File Folders, close out of that, Browse, Computer, okay. Alright, and I'm going to click on OK. Next. 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 While we're waiting for this, we want to create a couple of folders. So I'm going to open up Windows Explorer. We're going to go to C, and then right click, New, Folder, Downloads. Inside this folder, we're going to create two more. New, Folder, Win, 7, AIK, Enter, right click, New, Folder, Win, 7, ENT. Okay, now we've already got this folder here, the Windows 7 Enterprise, so we need to copy this. Oops. Control C. click on my back button, and then Control V. Let that copy. And then here we're going to click on Finish. And now we're going to close out of the Windows Deployment Services because this is done installing or running. Now the other file we're going to need, so we need a few files. We're going to get those from our live machine because I've already downloaded them. I'm going to pause while I wait for this to finish copying. Okay, so while this is done, this is going to finish working on being copied. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to click on Network, and you'll see we have Network Discovery is turned off, so I'm going to click it to change. Turn on Network Discovery and File Sharing. And yes, make my network discoverable. And here's my live machine. I'm just going to move this over for a moment. And I'm going to navigate to my folder that I have on my C drive. And I should have a software folder on here. Alright, so I want to copy these. Control C. Go to my network. And I should see my RWDC come up in a moment. Okay, now it didn't come up. Well, that's okay, actually. This has come up before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to my RWDC, click on Start. And we want to go to our Task Manager. Okay, now if we go to Services, and we're going to click on Name to put in alphabetical order, I want to go to the Fs, and we're going to start this one, and start this one. And up pops my RWDC01. Now I double click it. Now I have to share my downloads folder. So I'm going to go to my downloads folder. Actually, I can remove this one first. So I'm going to go to Media, DVD, Release F. Okay. Now, go to my C drive, go to my downloads, right click, Properties, Sharing, advanced share, share this folder, permissions, allow full control, OK, OK, and then close. Now if I flip back to my live machine, network, RWDC, there's my downloads folder, and I'm going to right click and paste those files that I had in here. And then I'm just going to move this over here because this is actually going to serve as my copy to paste to. Okay. Now the other file I need is my automated install. So I'm going to double click this to attach it. I'm going to minimize this for a minute, minimize this for a minute, go to Media, DVD, oops, and I'm going to capture, computer, Media, capture, release, Media, there we go. Oops, it's not what I wanted. Okay, Media, release F, Media, G. It's not coming up. Okay, not catastrophic. There it is. I'm going to open file folders. Control A, Control C, flip back to here. Okay, I'm going to go to my Windows 7 AIK and do Control V. Now while that's copying, I'm just going to do a double check to make sure I have all the files that I need. So let's go back to our book and go back just a few pages. Back to 193. Oops. Okay. So we have Server 2008. That one's done. Oops. Highlight. We have the Windows 7 Enterprise because we just copied it. Highlight. And then we have the AIK because I just copied it. And highlight. Now as far as the other files, go to downloads. We have the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. Which is this one. We have the Windows 7 Upgrade Advisor, which is this. And then we have the okay, so with this one, I'm using 64-bit, so I don't need this one, but I do need this one. So I went ahead and I've copied that to my live machine. So let me go ahead and grab that now. I don't see it again, so I'm going to have to redo this. Start. Shows up here, now I have to go here. Downloads, Control V. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and select this one, because this one we have. Highlight. Now I just need remote server administration tools for Windows 7. Which I don't think I have yet, so let's go ahead and get that next. Okay, so I don't need to download it because I believe I already have this, but let me just double check. So I'm going to minimize, let's move this over. And that's what this is right here. So we do have the right one. So I can go ahead and close out of this. So we have all of these where they need to be. Make highlight. And let's go back to our original. So we were at page 199. Oops. Enter. Alright, so we've done this. Alright, so let's go back to our main machine. So I'm going to make sure I have all these. Control C. Go to my network. There's my RWDC. Here's my downloads. These are all copies, so I can delete them. And then yes. Okay. I have my Windows 7 Enterprise. I have my Windows 7 AIK. So it looks like we have all the files we need. So I'll close out of this. Let's go back to here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and go back to my HyperV. Turn on my Windows Vista machine. And we're going to join this workstation to the domain. It should take about 10 minutes. Move this over here for now. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Okay, now we're going to click on Start button and go to the control panel. I'm actually going to minimize this for now. You got to do Control Alt and then the left arrow key in order to switch your cursor from the live machine to the virtual. Okay. So I'm back on my virtual machine. We're going to click on System and Security. Classic View. Nope. Okay. Security. I'm going to change the system properties. Okay, so we're actually going to go into System and Maintenance, System, and here we're going to go into Change Settings. And then Continue. And we're going to go into Change, add the domain of Toso.com, and then OK. Okay, so this has happened before, and what we've had to do is to remove the firewalls between the two machines. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So Security, Windows Firewall, I'm going to turn them off, and then OK. Close out of this, back to Control Panel, and then System and Maintenance. Now I'm going to go to my other machine and do the same thing. And then OK. Close out of this, minimize this, and go back to here. Go back to System. Change. Continue. Change. And then Domain. Okay, I'm going to try one more thing. Cancel, cancel, minimize. Close this. Start. Say documents for now. I want to go to network and then connect to a network. Okay, so I'm on the Network and Sharing Center. I've turned on Network Discovery, File Sharing, Public Folder. Turn on Sharing. Printer sharing, don't care really about that, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. There's no printers. And then apply, continue. Alright, let's go back to Windows Firewall and make sure they're all turned off. Windows Firewall is off. Close out of this. Here, control panel, system and security, system, change, continue, change, domain, toasted.com. Okay, then we're going to double check to make sure everything's still on. Over here. Start, control panel, system security, firewall. Everything is off. Start. Alright, let's turn these off for a minute. Stop. Stop. Start. 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 Network. Okay, right now all we see is the RWDC in my live machine. Start. Computer. Okay. I'm going to go to network. Connect to a network. Cannot find any networks. So I'm going to try getting these connected at a different route. So I'm in my server manager, and I've expanded roles, and I've expanded Active Directory domain services. I've also expanded Active Directory users and computers, and expanded Contoso.com, and now I'm on computers. Okay, so we're going to right-click, New, Computer. The computer name is this NYC-CL1. Okay, and then we're going to click on Next, Next, and Finish. Now we're going to configure it, so we're going to right-click, Properties. Okay, we're going to go to Delegation, trust this computer for delegation to any service. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and click on OK. Close out of this and come back into here. Okay, so I'm running into a problem trying to get my RWDC does work, and it sees some sort of connection here, and that's the internal switch. But here on my Vista machine, I have no switch. I've even gotten to the point where I have turned off the machine, deleted it, and created a brand new machine with a brand new image, and that still isn't working. So what I did is I took the software that we're going to need from the RWDC and I put it onto a DVD, and we're going to be deploying from this. So with that, I'm going to close out of this for a moment, and that's going to end this video. And the next video is actually going to pick up on Lab 1 of the lab manual, which goes into running the Upgrade Advisor and upgrading Windows from Vista to Windows 7.